Headlamps are something that is super useful, something you don't know you need until you have one, and use it a ton. I use mine detailing my car and to provide extra light when painting and doing other home and auto projects, and I use it all the time. I have the Olight H2R Nova here, and use it the most because of its rechargeable battery. But the CR123A sized battery has limited runtime. The new Olight H2R Nova here fixes that by using an 18650 battery with over 3 times the storage capacity of the CR123A. This gives you hours of runtime where you previously used to have minutes. I anticipate this being a longer review. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave them below and along with a like for this video. So here is the brand new Olight H2R Nova. And I've had this a little over a week, and I've been testing and using it a lot. It's been my EDC every day, and I'm here to tell you what I think of it. So up front, you can see the nice machining. The lens here is flat. It's plastic, but it does have that texture on there to diffuse the light. And that's one thing this light does, is super well diffused light. You can see the nicely machined aluminum here. Instead of having these are just ribs along here. They're not cross-hatched or anything. I think it holds pretty nice in the hand. This heat sink area here, I'll try to show up a little bit better. It is a bit of a dust trap, but it does do a nice job of acting as heat sink. In comparison to the H1R here, Olight has made some important changes. So this is a little hard to see here, but the angle of the button on the H2R is slightly recessed in the back, and I think that makes it nicer to hold in the hand like this, definitely. Along with its larger size, it just fits well in the hand. The button sizes are larger as well, and hard to tell here, but the button on the H2R is more deeply depressed. That is nice because I haven't had any trouble with this turning on in my pocket accidentally. I did have that problem with the H1R. On the end, you can see here, it does have Olight's magnetic charging, and the H2R adds a warning label here along with a positive and negative. Not super helpful, but I'll get into that later. The H2R also has some additional warnings. You've got a mark here, and the H1R didn't have that. I kind of wish Olight would leave it a more plain light and leave those markings off of it. But if you saw my unboxing video, I talked a little bit more about that. That's a European export mark, most likely. Even though the product's not made there, it's necessary to import. And I can leave a better description of that below in the comments. The H2R is rated for a 5-foot drop. It's IPX8 water resistant, so that means it's pretty waterproof. You can submerge it, although it's not a diving light, so it'll be just fine in the rain and puddles, things like that. Normal uses. And Olight says, including the battery but without the clip, this weighs 3.53 ounces, and I've measured that off camera and found it to be accurate. This is the neutral white version, and it does come in a cool white version as well. Let's talk performance here for a minute. Olight has new specifications here where it shows the performance for the cool white and the neutral white light. As you can see, the neutral white light, which is what I have, is reduced in its lumen count a little bit all across the board, except in moonlight mode. I don't think you notice a huge difference between the 2000 and the 2300 lumens in my other flashlight testing experience. So for me, it's not a big deal. I would much rather prefer the more realistic colors of the neutral white versus the cool white. But if you want the maximum lumens, get the cool white. As you can see here, run times are pretty long. You get, in turbo mode, you get that 1 minute plus then 110 minutes of runtime. In high, then you get the 550 lumens at 2.5 hours, which is, I think, really more than what you need in most situations. In most of my testing, I've been running it in the medium mode at 140 lumens, and that's an impressive 10 hours. Low is 27 lumens, 50 hours, and moon is 1 lumen for 45 days. I wanted to do a comparison here. On the left is the H2R box, and the right is my H1R box. So the runtime difference there is just huge, and you can see the amount of lighting difference in maximum and in high modes is a bit different. So the H2R is 180 lumens in high for 100 minutes. And I was using that a lot when I was detailing my car in my garage, even with the lights I have there. It wasn't enough. And I was using it painting there a lot around my house. In comparison, the H2R high mode is 550 lumens for 2.5 hours. So that's over 3 times the amount of light for significantly longer. You can bump down to the medium, which is a more fair comparison there, 140 lumens to 180 lumens, and you get 10 hours to 100 minutes of runtime. So that 18650 battery really gives you a tremendous increase in runtime. So here are my bench test shots, and I've got the light on in moonlight mode at 1 lumen. You can see it's on, and it's not much light. This is really more for map reading or absolute darkness. Around the home, it's usable. So bumping up here is low. And you can really see the beam pattern here, and I'll keep going, but it's so evenly lit, so evenly diffused. There's really no hot spots, and it is a very floody light. So there's medium, high. You can see a lot of light there. It's blowing out the camera in high at only 550 lumens. And then if I bump up, there is full turbo, and this only runs for a minute, and then you bump down to 700 lumens. So again, a lot of light out of turbo, totally blows out anything at such short range, but you can really see the flood of this beam. I wanted to do some night shots of the Olight H2R Nova in neutral white. And here is low mode, which is quoted on this model as 27 lumens. Bumping up, 140 lumens, and you can really start to see the nice flood here. Bumping up is 550 lumens. I've got the camera pretty sensitive, but this is pretty realistic to what my eye's seen. And here is turbo, which is 2000 lumens on the neutral white model. Really bright, really floody. You can see it even throws pretty decently about 100 yards or so. In turbo mode, this light gets really hot really fast. It's really easily capable of melting any dark colored plastic, like a grocery bag or that can be found on an envelope. Here's a quick time lapse I did of the light from room temperature on turbo for 1 minute. And this went from room temperature to 121 degrees in that 1 minute. And that's hot. It's definitely very warm up here on the head. The body stays fairly cool, but it does radiate heat. I'm glad that only runs for 1 minute, because if it ran much longer, the light would become too hot to hold. Even at 121, that head you think is going to burn you. And it won't, but you certainly think it will. I let my light cool back down to normal room temperature and then ran my normal test of running on high mode for 10 minutes. And doing that, it ran to 117 degrees. And that's certainly warm to hold in the hand and warmer than I'd want to for most situations. But it's not going to burn you, and it's going to be okay. A quick look at how long this light is physically. So I've got the H1R on top and the H2R here on the bottom. And you can see it's almost half as long. And here it is compared to a normal 18650 battery. Here's also a test showing off the H2R next to the Olight S30R baton. And as you can see, the S30R baton is just slightly longer. It does have a deeper carry pocket clip, and I'll talk more about the new clip on the H2R in a second. So one of the things Olight is known for is their recharging system. It's just really easy to use and small and compact. However, this is also controversial. One of the things I wanted to show here is how easy it works. So I've got my power bank hooked up. It's just USB. I clip it on and it starts charging. Green light shows that the light's charged. Red light shows it's still charging. One of the nice things is you can turn on this light while it's charging. Olight batteries are a little bit controversial in the flashlight community because they're a proprietary design putting both the positive and the negative on one side of the battery. And that's how that charging system works. They are high quality but because of the customization, it makes the replacement or if you want a second battery, those costs are higher than a standard battery. In most Olights, you can use a standard 18650 battery. That's a button top, and the light will run fine, but you won't get the magnetic charging. The H2R is a little different because in turbo mode, it requires enough amps and produces so much light that a standard battery, or even previous Olight batteries like this one out of my S30R, won't deliver enough power to make the light work in turbo mode. So what the H2R does with a standard battery is in turbo mode it will turn on and just flash in turbo and then completely power off. And what this is it's tripping the protection cell in your button top battery. Now I've had mixed results with this. I've got several lumen top batteries, which are, I believe, based on the Panasonic NCR 18650B cell, and these are a little bit older batteries, cell technology, so they're not high drain. Other batteries seem to work better that are high drain. However, the problem is right now this Olight, this ultra high drain Olight battery that comes with the H2R, you can't get any extras of these right now. They're a new product for Olight with the charging system on there, and they're just not available. And I'd expect them to be on the more expensive end when they do become available. I was able to take a Sony VCT6, which is a flat top battery normally, and it's good for 30 amps, I believe. I was able to place a small neodymium magnet on the top of the flat cell, and that provides the button cell, and then it will fit and work in the H2R, and let me show you that. So there is turbo, and it works just fine. This is by far a cheap option to do this. However, because the cost of the battery is about $7, $8, and the cost of the magnet, if you're willing to wait a month to ship from China, is less than 20 cents a piece. However, in doing this, you lose your magnetic charging. However, one of those things that's controversial in the flashlight market, along with that customized battery, is these contacts are live contacts normally when you have a Olight battery in there, and that's how it does the recharging. That center pin is recessed a bit, and I haven't had a problem ever or been able to really find anybody that have had a problem with short circuiting, but in theory it is possible. And with this being magnetic, I suppose you could have something metal in your pocket, not a coin, coins aren't magnetic, more easily short this out. However, if you're using the VT6 with a magnet like I've got in there right now, this no longer is a circuit and no longer is dangerous. So I suppose if you really like this flashlight but really want no risk of a short circuit, that is one option for you, and just take the battery out and charge it in a wall charger. So right now, using a high amp battery like this Sony VTC6, VTC5, LG has some as well that would be good, the Samsung 30Q or 20Q most likely, those are going to, with a magnet on top, those are going to be your best way to get a secondary battery right now when you order this flashlight. I suspect Olight will quickly have a supply of these ultra high amp batteries on the market so you can use your recharging system. The head mount has changed from what can be found on the H1 and H1R Novas. Instead of a silicone ring like they had before, like you can see here, this new model for the H2R is a firmer plastic with a stretchy silicone insert where you can clip the light on like that. It also has a new top strap, which I'll talk about here in a minute, and it has some reflective arrows on the side that are printed on, not stitched in like the Olight is itself. In addition to being a new material, I found this to be really comfortable. It does include a magnet here, and let me just get a battery here to show. You can see that battery is sticking on there and really won't come off. This allows you to stick that head mount and mount the headlight onto something magnetic if you want, with the mount still attached. It also allows it to grip the flashlight pretty well here. And it's a pretty strong and secure grip. This isn't falling off, and I can shake it a decent amount and it won't fall off. Obviously, for maximum protection, you want to attach the silicone strap in here. And Olight's really designed this to use with the pocket clip removed, unfortunately. That makes it one extra step and it's something to lose. However, it will strap on here with the pocket clip attached. It just makes it pretty difficult to turn. It's still possible, but just more difficult. Something to keep in mind. I really like the silicone strap. It makes it easy to take on and off, provided you're not having the clip. I found this light to be comfortable as I was wearing it for hours over the weekend. If you don't like the magnet, they do come with just a base that you can switch out in the box, which is a nice touch. I found this lamp doesn't leave marks on your forehead just because it's a broader, wider mount. So comfort-wise, it's great. What I wish they would change is I wish they'd make this top strap removable. It's stitched in there and not removable. On many 18650 headlights, they include this, but it's removable. This light is heavier, but I just don't think you need that top head strap in my experience. It'd be nice if Olight lets you take it off. I'll roll in a better picture here, but this is what the Olight H2R looks like on my hard hat, construction hard hat. And it works pretty well on there, fits no problem. So I EDC'd this light all week, and even though it's larger than the H1R that wasn't my favorite EDC, I like this one. The new clip is a lot of the reason why. This is a double bend clip and allows you to carry the light with the head down or the head up. I carried it mostly head up because I didn't like the idea of the live contacts being exposed, I guess. And I thought it fit a little bit better with the larger head. The new clip does stick out a little bit more than the old clip, but it's got a smooth ramp here, and I think it's a big improvement. The old clip, you can see, had a ramp here, and I always found my pants pocket got stuck in that a lot. The clip does fit on other Olight models like the S30R. I was able to get it on there no problem. And I anticipate this is a clip Olight's going to use for their next generation lights here this year and into the future most likely. Because on a light like the S30R, you can just clip it on to a baseball hat and get it to run forward, or you can clip it onto your pants pocket. It just gives a lot of flexibility. Other brands use clips like this and they're pretty well received. This button seems to be recessed a little bit from the H1R, and I found that in combination with the other things makes this light less likely to turn on in your pocket. I haven't had any problems with it turning on accidentally. It is summer and I'm wearing shorts, so I think that has a little bit to do with it. My pants are probably thinner and bend a little bit better than jeans would, but I expect the same to happen with jeans. This light does have a lockout mode. You just click on the top and hold. It goes into moonlight mode and you keep holding, and now you're in lockout mode. And you can just click it and the light just comes on momentarily. That just lets you know you're in lockout mode. To unarm lockout, you click and hold, and it goes into moonlight, where then you can turn off or bump up in brightness. I did notice these cooling fins did like to collect dust and dirt from my pocket. Just something to be aware of, keep in mind. I went over the packaging briefly in my unboxing video, but in case you didn't see that, I'll go over it now. It's an Olight box. It's cardboard instead of plastic, and I think that's a little bit nicer. It does have a hook here for retail use. Like I said, it comes in cool and neutral white, and you get all the specs here, and I'll move this slowly so you can pause and read. You have a note here to take the plastic off the light for the first time use. This is where the light normally sits. Inside here you've got your charging accessories and your headlamp, and then underneath here you have the manual. I won't go into the manual in detail, but it's a nice manual. It's nicely translated with nice pictures. I found really no problems with it. And it tells you how to recharge the light, how to use it, and the different modes it comes with. In summary, I enjoy the H2R, and I'm glad Olight came out with an 18650 headlamp to the market. And I'm glad they offered it with a neutral white option. The runtime out of an 18650 is super useful. As an EDC, this is also a pretty good light too, with the upgraded clip. However, there are some negatives. The use of an ultra high drain Olight custom battery is a negative. Right now, you can't buy a second one if you wanted to. And when you will be able to, they're more expensive than a similar high drain battery with a magnet. Doing so loses the recharging system, but if you're looking for a backup, in my opinion, it might be a good option if you're looking to save some money. Also doing so, it's arguably safer as an EDC because the live contacts on the bottom of the light are no longer live. I found the head strap to be comfortable, but wished the over the head strap part was detachable like many other competitors. This build quality is up to Olight's usual high standards, and I found no problems there. I like the really diffused light and very even beam on this, and that it is such a broad beam. And it does do a decent job of throwing, as we saw in my nighttime clips. The runtimes and outputs are consistent with Olight's published numbers, in my experience. I personally will get a lot of use out of this headlamp in automotive and home projects, and I really recommend a headlamp like the H2R if you don't have one already. Thanks for watching my video review of the Olight H2R Nova. More flashlight reviews and how-to videos are on the way soon. Please subscribe so you don't miss the next one.